Hey Cromwell, welcome to this video. Today we'll be going through the basics of how to launch Fusion 360 and make some basic drawings. Um, so the first thing you're going to do is go to this website, fusion.online.autodesk.com. That should be available in the Cromwell group. If you go to our Schoology group, you should be able to find this link. Once you click that, you should arrive at a web page like this. And from here, you just click Launch Fusion 360. You'll be prompted with a sign-in. Use your Cromwell email for this portion of the sign-in, and once you've typed your email in, just hit Next. Put your password in, and just click Sign In. Now, a couple things may happen here. You may either be greeted with a loading icon, which might take a while to buffer, or you might be shown another screen that asks you to create some sort of project. When it asks you to create a project, just click Create New Project, and if it prompts you to add other people onto the project, click No for that. So once it's loaded, it might ask you to put in your credentials again, like such, and then after some time, it should load. So once it's loaded, you should see something like this. A quick tip, this top section is called the Toolbar. This is where all your different actions are. And this side portion over here is called the design tree. So as you draw stuff and CAD different things on the surface, they'll show up over here to quickly access different components. For example, if I'm making a pencil, I might 3D model the pencil and then I might 3D model the eraser. But if I want to quickly change the dimensions of the eraser, let's say I want to make it a little bigger, instead of having to redo the entire model, I can go to the design tree and edit that specific eraser. We'll be using this a while from now, so don't worry if it doesn't make complete sense just yet. Up here is our method of changing how we see what we call the canvas over here. If you click these different sides, it'll show you different perspectives of our canvas. And so by clicking it, you can go to these different angles. You can also click and hold and move around like that to look at the different angles. And then if you want to go back to the default view, just hit this corner over here or press the home button and it'll take you to what it should look like. Once that's done, the first thing we're going to do is start a drawing. If you think about it, a three-dimensional object, like a pencil or a water bottle, starts with a 2D drawing that gets stretched out and gets added a third dimension. For example, if you took a square and you stacked a bunch of squares on top of it, you'd get a cube. So if we wanted to 3D model a square, if we wanted to 3D model a cube, we would start by drawing a square and then adding a bunch of squares on top. So the first thing we're going to do is create a sketch. To do that, over here you'll see a little icon that says Create, and when you hover over it and then click it, you have a bunch of options. And we're just going to click on Create Sketch. When we do that, it's going to give us three different options. It's going to give us three little yellow squares to pick from, 1, 2, and 3. This is the top plane, this is the forward plane, and this is the left plane. For our purposes, it doesn't matter which one of these three you click, as long as you just click one of them. I'm going to choose the top plane. Once you click it, this is what it looks like. You'll notice that up here, you have different tools available in your toolbar. And that's what it is. This looks a lot like a coordinate plane because it is a coordinate plane. This special part here is called the origin, and whenever you draw something, you want to make sure at least one point of your drawing is at the origin. So for example, if I draw a square or a rectangle, I want to make sure that one corner of that rectangle is at the origin. So I'm going to do that. If I want in order to draw a rectangle, I'm going to go up here on the top left, click on 2-point rectangle, Once I've clicked it, you'll notice that my cursor has changed, and it's given me a little rectangle icon, letting me know that I have selected a rectangle. To draw a rectangle, I'm just going to click anywhere on the surface, but I'm going to click over here at the origin, and when I click it once, and I move my mouse around, it'll let me draw a rectangle at any dimension I want. Notice how I can type in how wide and how tall I want it to be. To type it in, all you do is type a number on your keyboard, so like 4 inches, and type the units right next to it. So 4IN tells the computer I want to draw a rectangle that's 4 inches wide. And in order to tell the computer how tall I want the rectangle to be, I'm just going to press Tab on my keyboard. The Tab button is located right above your caps lock button, and it automatically takes that blue highlight from the width dimension to the height dimension. And now I can type in 6 inches for how tall I want it to be. When I hit Enter, it draws a rectangle that is 3.3 inches wide and 6 inches tall. In order to move up and down like I'm doing right now, I'm pressing down on the scroll wheel of my mouse. Now, if you're using a trackpad, you can also just come down here, click the pen button, and you can move around like that. But if you're using a mouse, if you press down on your cursor, you should be able to do the exact same thing. Whenever you're done using a tool, or you want to move away from using the tool, you can hit Escape. So for example, let's say I'm using a trackpad and I start panning around. If I want to stop panning around so that I can actually click these different objects, I just click the Escape button on my keyboard. So when I click the Escape button, it goes away and my cursor looks the same. So for example, if I clicked the rectangle tool and decided, oh, I don't want to make a rectangle, I just hit the Escape button. So that's the rectangle tool. You can also click the rectangle tool and draw and just drag how tall and how wide you want it to be. You don't need to put in numbers. But notice how this outline, instead of being black over here, is blue. We'll talk about why that's the case in person tomorrow. The final tool I'm going to introduce you to is the line tool. In order to access the line tool, I'm going to hover over the Create button, and when I click the Create button, I'm going to select Line right here. Now, before I click that, I want to get rid of everything on my canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is press Escape to deselect my tool so that I'm back to a normal mouse. And then I'm going to zoom out. And the way I'm zooming out is by using a scroll wheel to go in back and forth. So I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and zoom out. But if you're on a trackpad, you can come right here to this magnifying glass and click on the zoom button. And that does the exact same thing. And notice how when I click the zoom button and I move my and I click down and I move my mouse up, it zooms out, and when I move my mouse down, it zooms in. And if I hit Escape, I go back to my regular cursor. So in order to delete these rectangles, I'm going to take my mouse to the top left corner, press down, and drag across to select all these objects. Once they're all selected, which you'll know because it's going to all be highlighted in a blue shade, I'm going to click the Delete button on the top right of my keyboard. Now everything is deleted. I have an empty canvas. I'm good to go. Now to draw a line, I'm going to click this Create button down here and select a line. In order to start my line, I can start my drawing anywhere. I can click over here to place the first point of the line, and then I can drag my mouse around and click again to choose the second point on my line. You can adjust the length of the line by either typing in a number or dragging how small or how big you want it to be. And you can adjust the angle the line is in. And we'll talk about that in person. It's a little bit weird. But for now, I'm not going to put a number in. I'm just going to move my mouse to, let's say, this position. And when I click down, I've made a line. Once you click down, your mouse automatically, the computer thinks that you're about to draw another line. So without clicking down again, it's already showing me the path another line would take. So I click down over here, I can draw another line like that, and I can keep doing this forever and ever. But if I want to stop, I just hit the escape key and I'm good to go. Now remember everything must be fixed to the origin, which means some part of your drawing must connect back to the center over here. So to make sure this drawing does that, I'm gonna go back to create. I'm gonna draw a line that goes from this point, and notice how there's a little square box over the point. I'm gonna click over here to the origin. And I'm gonna hit escape because I'm done. And now everything is fixed to the origin. That's all we have that's all the content we have for today. We'll be building on this on Thursday. To finish a sketch, you just click the Finish Sketch button, and now your sketch is complete. If you ever want to edit a sketch, this is where our object tree comes in. To edit a sketch, I'm going to go to the Sketches folder, and when I click down, it shows me Sketch 1, which is the sketch I just drew. In order to edit it, I can just click on the sketch. I can just double-click on the sketch. Oops. Double-click. And now I'm back to being able to edit this sketch. I can hit Finish. And if I click this little if I click the top left of this cube over here, it shows me in 3D space how this weird drawing I've made looks.